Ah, Florida, the land of sun, sand, and retirement dreams. Except, what if I told you that some of those dreams are turning into nightmares? Yes, folks, people are packing up and leaving the Sunshine State faster than a snowbird chasing the early bird special. But why are people fleeing the land of palm trees and pina coladas? And what's happening to Florida's real estate market? But before we dive into all that, welcome to Live South Florida, your go-to channel for everything that you need to know about South Florida real estate and lifestyle. Whether you're buying, selling, or just dreaming about life in paradise, we've got you covered. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notifications so you never miss out on the latest updates. All right, let's get into it because I'm pretty sure a hurricane's coming. Why are people leaving Florida? So what's chasing folks out of Florida? Is it the alligators, the heat, Ron DeSantis? Well, it's actually a perfect storm of issues. Let's start with everyone's favorite topic, money. Number one, skyrocketing insurance costs. Florida's infamous hurricanes aren't just great for the Weather Channel, they're a nightmare for homeowners. Over the past few years, insurance premiums have soared by more than 50%. Hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, and even sinkholes make insurance a high-risk business, and companies are passing those costs on to the homeowners. But weather isn't the only problem. Fraud and litigation have added fuel to the fire. Roofing scams and lawsuits have led to insurance companies shelling out millions with over 100,000 legal claims a year. And to make matters worse, some insurers already packed up and left Florida altogether, leaving homeowners scrambling to find new policies at sky-high rates. Number two, the condo crisis and HOA fees. Condo owners are in a tough spot too. After the tragic collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside in 2021, Florida passed new safety regulations for buildings over 30 years old. That requirement applies to roughly 900,000 condo units across the state. Good idea, right? Well, the downside is that mandatory safety checks and repairs are very expensive. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. Condo owners now face massive bills to bring their buildings up to code. Condo associations are now required to keep a minimum amount in their reserves to fund future repairs, requiring many buildings to increase their monthly association dues, making HOA fees jump by as much as 60%. If the condos don't pass these safety checks, owners could be hit with hefty state fines. So many are running for the exits, slashing prices to sell fast, sometimes at losses of up to 40%. The condo market is flooded, and properties that once promised a low maintenance lifestyle now come with fees higher than a mortgage. Let me give you an example. In Miami, residents at the Palm Bay Yacht Club, where 2-bedroom units have sold this year for between $400,000 and $500,000, are having to pay $140,000 each toward a special assessment for a range of building improvements. Or how about in Orlando, where owners at the Regency Gardens, where 2-bedroom units are listed for around $160,000, were told that they would have to pay $22,000 each, causing the residents to remove the board altogether. These stories are happening all across the state, and in some cases, residents are being told that they have to evacuate their buildings because of structural deficiencies that were found during inspections. Think about that. You're living peacefully and they come to you and tell you that you have to temporarily move out because of potential issues with the building you live in due to the lack of maintenance on their part. It's terrible. And if condo owners are unable to pay the assessment, they can be foreclosed on by their condo association. Let that one sink in. This storm of costs is affecting the entire real estate market. With rising insurance premiums and HOA fees, buyers are pulling back, especially from condos. Home prices are dropping, inventory is up by 57%, and properties are staying on the market longer. While single-family homes are still in demand, affordability is becoming a major issue as homeowners face the mounting cost of paradise. Florida's still got the beaches and sunshine, but with rising costs across the board, that slice of paradise is becoming harder and more expensive to hang on to. Number three, the heat and bugs. Before you start daydreaming about all that warm weather, let's talk about what warm really means here. And spoiler alert, it's not that cozy fireplace kind of warm. It's more like opening an oven door and sticking your face right in the middle of a freshly baked pizza. Summers are brutal. Temperatures easily hit 98 degrees, and with 90% humidity, you feel like you're walking through a hot bowl of soup. You know that feeling when you step out of the shower and immediately start sweating? Yeah, that's every day in a Florida summer. Remember those Instagram-worthy beach days? Well, Try lying on that towel when the sand is so hot it feels like it could melt the soles of your feet. Forget walking your dog after 10 a.m. because the pavement could practically fry an egg. And as for your wardrobe, prepare to live in flip-flops, tank tops, and an endless supply of sunscreen that will probably just slide right off because you're drenched in sweat within minutes. Now let's get to the bugs. In most places, bugs are a seasonal thing. Deal with them for a few months and then they're gone. But not here in Florida. Here, mosquitoes are a year-round roommate. These little vampires are relentless, making every outdoor activity feel like a battle zone. And mosquitoes are just the beginning. Ever heard of love bugs? Cute name, but let me tell you, they swarm like they're staging a full-scale invasion. They're everywhere in the spring and they love getting plastered on your windshield like it's their life's mission. And let's not forget the giant palmetto bugs, basically super-sized cockroaches that can fly. Yep. Just when you think you've got one cornered, it takes off like a helicopter. Then there are the spiders, big, small, colorful, creepy, you name it. Florida's got it. Frogs, lizards, and snakes are all common backyard buddies. And let's not leave out the real big guys like alligators who occasionally decide to take a dip in your swimming pool. So what's the takeaway? If you're planning to live in Florida, be prepared to share it with some extra tenants, big and small. And remember, when people say Florida's like paradise, that paradise comes with a side of relentless heat and a swarm of uninvited, buzzing, crawling, slithering guests. Hope you packed your bug spray and maybe an industrial-sized fan. Number 4, the politics. Before we dive in, let me just say up front, I'm not taking sides here. I'm just giving you the scoop on what life is like in Florida right now. No matter what your political views are, it's fair to say that things have gotten a little heated. Over the past few years, Florida has not only become a battleground for some of the country's most intense debates, it's also become a solidly red state. While Florida was once considered a swing state, recent elections have showed a decisive shift to the right, with conservative leaders gaining a stronghold, and the state has become a focal point for major cultural and political changes. School curriculum debates, LGBTQ+ rights, immigration policies, you name it. Governor Ron DeSantis has introduced laws that have drawn national attention, such as restrictions on how race and sexuality are taught in schools, and the result, it's all anyone talks about. You could be enjoying your morning Cuban coffee and suddenly find yourself in an earshot of a full-on political debate. And it's not just red versus blue, it's urban versus rural, young versus old, native versus newcomer. In cities like Miami and Orlando, you'll find more progressive views focusing on climate change, diversity, and social issues. Drive a bit to the suburbs or rural areas and you'll find strong conservative values, religious beliefs, and a whole lot of support for gun rights. The state can feel like two places at once, and that's causing a lot of friction. This political climate has led to some interesting migration patterns. Conservatives are flocking to Florida, drawn by its low taxes, business-friendly policies, and traditional values. To many, it's a haven, a place that aligns with their beliefs and offers a lifestyle that they're eager to embrace. But for some liberals, the state's shifting policies are a deal breaker. They're feeling the pressure from new laws and culture clashes, and some who moved here for the sunshine are now moving out, opting for states they feel better reflects their values. What's paradise to one person can be the last straw for another. So what does this mean if you're thinking of moving to Florida? Well, you're not just signing up for sunshine and no state income tax. You're diving into a place with strong opinions, big debates, and a culture that may or may not match your worldview. For some, it's invigorating, and for others, it's overwhelming. What's happening in the real estate market? Let's talk about Florida's real estate market, because when people start leaving in droves, it's going to have an impact, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing. High inventory, slowing demand. Remember the pandemic boom? Florida was the place to be. People came flooding in from all over, New York, California, Texas, you name it, snapping up homes like beach towels at a summer sale. Bidding wars, over asking price offers. You couldn't buy a house without competing against 20 other offers. Sellers held all the cards, but times have changed. Demand has cooled, mortgage rates have gone up, and inventory has shot up. A whopping 57% more homes are on the market than just a year ago. For the first time in a long time, Florida's buyers actually have options. That means if you're looking to buy, now could be your chance. No more rushing in with an offer minutes after a listing goes live. You can shop around, take your time, and maybe even negotiate for a better deal. Price drops are becoming more common, and some sellers are even offering incentives to close the deal. The days of as-is sales without inspections are fading, and sellers are having to spruce up and stage their homes to attract buyers. Just because there are more homes on the market doesn't mean they're cheap. Mortgage rates are still high, and that means your monthly payments could be way steeper than you expect. So while that price tag might look appealing, financing that home is still going to hit your wallet. And let's not forget about HOA fees. Some have skyrocketed, adding even more to the cost. For sellers, it means getting realistic. Staging, repairs, and competitive pricing are back on the table. And for condo owners facing stricter regulations and higher fees, there's a rush to sell, even if it means taking a hit. Florida's real estate market is cooling, but not crashing. It's just rebalancing. If you're a buyer, the power's shifting your way, but keep an eye on those mortgage rates. If you're a seller, you might have to make a deal. The frenzy is over, but Florida's market still has plenty of action. Number 2, condo meltdown. Let's talk condos, because if there's one word to describe the condo market in Florida right now, it's meltdown. And no, I'm not talking about the summer heat. Condo owners are sweating for a whole other reason. Remember those dreams of a hassle-free, low-maintenance condo life? Well, for many Floridians, that dream is turning into a nightmare. After the tragic collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside back in 2021, the state cracked down with strict new safety regulations. Sounds smart, right? Sure. Until you realize that these safety inspections are mandatory for buildings over 30 years old, and they're expensive. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential repairs, money most condo associations never budgeted for. Yeah, that's the reality for condo owners right now. They're panicking, slashing prices by 40%, desperate for anyone to take these units off of their hands before they get hit with those inspections and massive repair costs. You've got buildings full of owners who once upon a time thought that they'd found their retirement paradise. Now they're scrambling to sell before their HOA fees and repair costs turn their dream home into a financial sinkhole. Because of these new laws, the condo market is flooded with listings, especially in older buildings that are suddenly not looking so appealing. Imagine having condos piling up for sale like oranges at a roadside stand, except that these oranges come with a side of six-figure repair bills. In Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade counties alone, listings for condos skyrocketed to over 20,000 in just 1 year. Almost 90% of those are in buildings that are over 30 years old, the exact ones most affected by these new inspections. And as if the inspections weren't enough, you've got skyrocketing HOA fees, some increasing by 60%. Between new reserve requirements for maintenance and skyrocketing insurance premiums, condo owners are facing sticker shock every month. And let's face it, buyers are hesitant. Who wants to inherit all of those costs and the headache of surprise repairs? If you're a condo owner, it's not the best time to be selling, especially if you're one of those aging buildings. And for buyers, well, it could be a good deal if you're willing to take on the risk and the repairs, but hey, paradise isn't cheap, right? Florida's condo meltdown is real, and if you're thinking of diving into this market, make sure you cut on a life jacket and a pretty hefty reserve fund. Number 3, affordability issues. Let's talk affordability, because if you haven't checked out Florida's real estate market lately, you might still be picturing those palm tree lined streets filled with affordable homes. But spoiler alert, these days are slipping away faster than a Florida sunset. Remember when Florida was the cheaper option compared to New York or California? Well, those days are pretty much over. Since 2020, home prices have soared by 60%, with the median price now sitting at over $400,000. And this isn't just affecting the luxury market. Starter homes, condos, single-family houses, they're all feeling the squeeze. And if rising prices weren't enough, mortgage rates have jumped up too. For years, people flocked to Florida to buy their slice of paradise with a 3% mortgage rate, and they made it rain on houses. Now, those rates are closer to 6 and 7%, which means monthly payments have skyrocketed. So even if you do find a house that's within your price range, be prepared to pay much more every month than you would have just a couple of years ago. That higher rate can add hundreds or even thousands to your monthly payment, making what used to be a dream affordable lifestyle feel more like a financial nightmare. That's got a lot of buyers thinking, maybe I should wait this one out. And honestly, some of them are. They're hoping that prices will drop or that interest rates will go back down. But if you're holding your breath for a market crash, don't count on it. The market's cooling, sure, but it's more of a slow deflation than a full-on burst. If buying is tough, renting isn't much better. Florida rents have surged in recent years as demand went through the roof during the pandemic. Cities like Miami, Orlando, and Tampa saw some of the highest rent increases in the country. For example, Miami saw rents jump 30% in just 1 year. That's left many residents scrambling to afford their rent payments and even more struggling to save up for a down payment on a house. And let's not forget property taxes and insurance costs. With home values skyrocketing, property taxes are on the rise, adding to that monthly financial burden. And homeowners insurance, well, I've got a whole segment dedicated to that nightmare, but let's just say it's the cherry on top of this expensive Florida Sunday. So if you're dreaming of that easy breezy Florida lifestyle, just remember, paradise comes with a price tag and it's getting heftier by the day. So what does the future hold for Florida's real estate market? Will prices continue to drop? Will the condo crisis push even more people out? While it's clear that Florida's housing market is going through some growing pains, experts say it's more of a rebalancing than a full-blown collapse. My advice, if you're thinking about buying in Florida, be careful and do your research. And if you're thinking about selling, well, now might be a good time to consider that. At the end of the day, Florida's still got its beaches, sunshine, and occasional alligator sightings, but for some people, the sun has set on their Florida dreams. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Florida's housing market, lifestyle tips, and all things real estate. If you've got questions or thoughts, drop them down in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And if you have any questions, feel free to call us at the number below and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Make sure to check out our other videos on everything that you need to know about living, buying, or investing in South Florida. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video.